So, pricing for Etsy. Now, this is one of the questions I get asked all the time, especially if you're new to Etsy or you're an Amazon handmade seller or a handmade seller that wants to expand into Etsy. And in this video, I go into how you can price your items for Etsy to make more sales and to make more profit. So, let's get cracking. Hey team, my name is Teddy, and in these videos, I talk about how you can build a handmade business and some of the techniques I use to grow my business into a full-time business so that I can quit my job and have more fun working for myself. And if you think that sounds like it would help you out, then click subscribe as I post videos about handmade business every single week. But firstly, why is pricing important? Well, you don't want to be too expensive so no one buys it, and also not so cheap so you make no money. If you've already seen my video about pricing for Amazon Handmade, which is on the screen above me somewhere now, then you'll know how important pricing can be to your business. But you really want your pricing to be competitive. You also need to work out how much money you think your time is worth and how much work is going into it. You want to make sure you're making enough money to make it worth your while, especially if your goal is to make your business full-time, which it should be. If going full-time is something that interests you, you should definitely consider selling your products on Amazon Handmade as well, as the scale is much bigger than Etsy. One of my products that sells around $500 to $1,000 a month on Etsy sells $3,000 to $5,000 each month on Amazon Handmade, and the fees aren't really that much different. So let's break down everything you need to know about pricing on Etsy. Firstly, you need to look at your Cogs. Now, Cogs just means costs of goods sold, and it's basically how much does it cost you to make your product. You need to include all your materials here. So this could include the thread you use to sew, or it could include the materials you use to line something, or it could even include the zippers or the buttons, or whatever goes into making your product. You need to understand how much that costs. One other thing you need to consider is how much of your time does it cost to make your product. And don't forget about your time going to ship it as well, like going to the post office. What is your hourly rate? What would you be happy with? Try and factor in how much money you would be happy with to make it worth your while selling your products. An important thing also to consider is your competitors' pricing. Some people say, don't look at what everyone else is doing, just concentrate on yourself. But with a marketplace like Amazon, or in this case Etsy, it's really, really easy for people to compare on prices. Just look at what the competition is selling their products for and factor that into what you're going to price your products for. You need to be realistic about what you can sell your products for. So check out what's the highest price that your competitors are selling for, and even the lowest. Can you make your products for something that is in this range and still be profitable? You can check on Etsy and on Amazon for the pricing, but remember they are different platforms. If you are just starting out, you probably don't just want to be like the highest on your category, as you don't have enough sales history for the customer to be paying the top prices. You also don't want to be too low, because people will think it's too cheap and therefore maybe bad quality. Also, selling for a really low price can devalue you, and I think this can be quite bad for your self-esteem. You also don't want to be like in a race to the bottom. You don't want to get into a position where everyone is just trying to outbid each other for who can have the lowest price product. A lot of people get a bit of imposter syndrome with their pricing sometimes because they don't think their products are necessarily good enough to sell for a higher price. Now, if this is you, and don't feel bad if this is you, because I felt the same, and you don't feel comfortable charging a bit more for your products, maybe think about how you can maybe bundle your product to make it bigger. For example, you could do a 2-pack, or you could include a free gift like a carry bag, or maybe even an ebook with some instructions. Another thing you've got to factor into your costs is your shipping costs. So say for example, you include your shipping costs in your sale price, which is what I probably recommend. You need to make sure you're including that Cogs in your price, because otherwise it could use all of your profit. It's really good to do free shipping because a lot of customers filter free shipping when they're shopping, and they think they're maybe getting a better deal, even though realistically they're just paying for the shipping in the price. But just make sure that if you're doing that, you factor it into your pricing so you still have some profit at the end. Another thing that needs to be factored in that people often forget is packaging. This could be the box that the product comes in, but it could also include the things like printing thank you cards or putting inserts in the products with instructions in. You also need to include the cost of the envelope or the shipping box that's going to send it to the customer. You can't forget about all these little things. They need to be included in the Cogs because you need to know how much money you're going to make. And of course, you've also got the fees. Now, these are a little bit different to Amazon, as Etsy has a few different fees, whereas Amazon only really has one fee if you're doing the shipping yourself. So Etsy has its fee of 9%, which is their fee for the commission which they take. But they also have things like credit card fees and listing fees. So overall, their fee comes to about 10.5%. Let's break down everything we've just been through. So firstly, you've got your sale price. This is how much you're going to sell your products for. Then you've also got your fees, but you've also got your manufacturing costs. And there's a breakdown of everything in this, including your threads, your buttons, everything. Just include everything that it costs to make your product. You've then got your shipping costs, which is how much it takes to get your product to the customer. Plus on top of that, you've got your time. Now, I always try to aim for a 30 to 40% profit margin when I'm selling my products online, as this leaves me with enough profit to try and grow the business, plus some extra money in there in case there are any returns, and a bit of money so we can do some marketing as well. And you need to work out what money you need. You know, is £5 profit enough for the time it took you to make your product? Or do you need more than that or less than that? And if so, could you make more money by making it into a bundle or a gift set to improve the perceived value of the product? You could also consider outsourcing some of the manufacturing to help you out a bit more. It might even help you scale up faster if you use another platform like Amazon Handmade. These are all things to consider when setting your pricing. But you always want to make sure that you aren't ripping yourself off. This is the most important thing. Make sure you're making enough money for yourself. Because you need to keep your price competitive, but you also want to make sure that you're making enough money to make this whole thing that you're doing worthwhile. You know, it is a business at the end of the day and you should treat it like that. And that's why I always recommend looking at Amazon Handmade, not just Etsy, as it's a great platform which will enable you to grow faster. I hope you found that video helpful, and if you're looking for more information about pricing on Amazon Handmade, check out the video which is on the screen now, which goes through exactly how all that works. Let me know in the comments if you've got any questions, and I will see you in the next video.